Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Dishti IAS Editorial Analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have come in the editorial and are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Indian Express and it has come on 30th of September. The title of the editorial is A Costly Pause, and it says that the delay in appointing external members to the Monetary Policy Committee was avoidable and it creates needless uncertainty. Now let's look at its linkage with the syllabus. So it links directly with GS paper 3, and in GS paper 3 it links with economic development, and under this with Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. Because basically in this editorial we will be discussing RBI and the role of its Monetary Policy Committee. So after establishing the linkage with the syllabus, now let's look at its key points. So before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us understand what the issue is all about. So on October 1st, the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee was supposed to announce the country's key interest rates and also monetary policy for the next 2 months. But this will have to wait as the government is yet to appoint the 3 new members to replace the ones whose tenure has finished in the Monetary Policy Committee. And here we should know that RBI's Monetary Policy Committee is mandated with inflation targeting and few other functions. Also we should know that the monetary policy refers to the central bank activities, RBI in this case, which are directed towards influencing the quantity of money and credit in an economy. Also we should note that fiscal policy refers to the government's decisions about taxation and spending, and both monetary and fiscal policies are used to regulate economic activity over time. So we should understand the clear distinction between monetary policy and the fiscal policy. Monetary policy comes under the ambit of RBI, and under RBI it is the Monetary Policy Committee which has been in existence since 2016, which has been mandated to decide the key interest rates as well as the monetary policy. And now this Monetary Policy Committee is having 6 members. 3 members are from RBI and 3 other members are nominated by Government of India. But they are not government officials and they have a 4-year term. Now these government nominated 3 members, their term has come to an end, but the government has not been able to appoint the 3 new members, and that is why this situation has arisen where this Monetary Policy Committee meeting had to be postponed by the RBI. And this delay by the government has come in for a lot of criticism, as this has happened at a time when the COVID-19 pandemic is raging and also the GDP growth is floundering. Or in other words, the GDP is not growing but contracting. Now the Monetary Policy Committee is a statutory committee that fixes the key policy interest rates, and the key policy interest rate means repo rate and the reverse repo rates. And we should know that repo rate means the rate at which RBI lends to the banks, whereas reverse repo rate is the rate at which RBI borrows from the banks. This is very important from exam perspective, and we should be knowing clearly the difference between repo rate and the reverse repo rate. Repo stands for repurchase options. So Monetary Policy Committee fixes the key policy interest rates. It also determines the monetary policy stance of the country, and importantly it does inflation targeting, where the target has been set as 4 plus minus 2%. That means the inflation can range from 2 to 6%. And here we can see that the Monetary Policy Committee consists of 6 members, out of which 3 are nominated by RBI and 3 are nominated by Government of India. The quorum for any meeting of Monetary Policy Committee is at least 4 members. And because 3 members nominated by Government of India had completed their tenure, so the meeting could not take place until and unless the government appoints 3 new members. And these 3 members who are nominated by Government of India are selected by a committee headed by the Cabinet Secretary for a 4-year term. The members of RBI who are part of the Monetary Policy Committee are the RBI Governor, who acts as the head of the Monetary Policy Committee, the Deputy Governor, who deals with the Monetary Policy Department, and the Executive Director, who deals with monetary policy. The RBI Governor has a casting vote in case of a tie in the monetary policy over any issue, but the RBI Governor does not have any veto as such. Now let us see the monetary policy stances that are often in news, and we should be clear about it. So when we hear that the Monetary Policy Committee has taken a hawkish stand or a dovish stand, or it has taken an accommodative stance or a neutral stance, then what does these terms actually mean? So when the RBI or the Monetary Policy Committee takes a hawkish stand, it means that the RBI is going to aggressively guard against inflation. And how it will do it? So it will have high interest rates to control the money supply. When the RBI or Monetary Policy Committee goes for a dovish stand, it means the basic aim is to guard against deflation. Deflation means the decrease in prices of goods and services in the economy. And how this is done? By improving the credit supply in the economy by having low interest rates. When it is said that RBI is having a accommodative stance, it means that RBI is following a easy monetary policy, and this also includes low interest rates. And when the Monetary Policy Committee or RBI has a neutral stance, it means that the key policy rates, which are repo and reverse repo, they will neither be decreased nor increased. So the RBI will maintain a neutral stance. Now let's see what will be the impact of this delay in conducting the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. So the interest rates play a crucial role in the economy, and any delay in changing the rates will impact the economy, as the Monetary Policy Committee has the important task of setting the repo rate and the reverse repo rate. Also at a time when the economy is in a difficult situation due to the pandemic and the economic downturn, and in case of such economic emergency, the Monetary Policy Committee should have been in place to formulate policy and to take action. So this does not reflect well on the government that they have not been able to appoint the members in time, and the meeting has to be postponed. Finally, let us see why the Monetary Policy Committee was created in the very first place. So before 2016, the RBI Governor used to decide on the policy rates. But in 2016, the government provided statutory backing to Monetary Policy Committee by notifying an amendment to the RBI Act of 1934. And the government also notified inflation target and tolerance band around it for the Monetary Policy Committee, which is 4 plus minus 2%. Now these rate setting decisions are made by the Monetary Policy Committee, and the method is by voting in the committee. Before the Monetary Policy Committee came into existence, it was being done by the RBI Governor. So the coming up of Monetary Policy Committee has made the system more transparent, and more accountability has been enforced. And since the coming of the Monetary Policy Committee in 2016, the repo rate has been slashed by 250 basis points to 4% in the last 4 years. So after having this background, now let us look at the key points of the editorial. So the editorial says that the Reserve Bank of India on 28 September has postponed its bi-monthly meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, which was supposed to be held from September 29 to October 1st. And this postponement is presumably due to the fact that the government is yet to announce the 3 external members of the 6-member Monetary Policy Committee. And here the editorial raises this important point that the government knew about the timeline of departure of the external members which were nominated by it in 2016 for a 4-year term. So why the government delayed the appointment of the new members defies any logic, and this uncertainty was best avoided. Though on the favor of the government, it has been said by many people that with headline retail inflation which continues to be above 6%, the delay in appointing new members to the MPC is unlikely to matter, as the new members are likely to maintain status quo on the interest rates. But that is besides the point. The new members should have been in place and the meeting should have taken place. And there cannot be any excuse for the government to delay these appointments. Also, the editorial says that this is a lame argument because the new members will also need time to not only arrive at an informed view on the stance of the monetary policy when the country is passing through a very critical time, and also to get familiarized with the procedures and working of the Monetary Policy Committee. Also, the MPC statement, which is the statement that is issued by the Monetary Policy Committee after every meeting, serves as an important document on 2 counts. The first one is for providing greater clarity over the state of the economy, that how the economy is doing, and secondly, for providing forward guidance. And both of these are very important, especially at a time when the economy is not doing so great. And the editorial also states that since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, RBI has provided some directional guidance but has repeatedly refused to provide any firm estimate of either inflation or growth. And this would have been a very good time for the RBI or for the Monetary Policy Committee of RBI to present its own estimates and lay out the trajectory going forward. Also, the editorial says that RBI had previously sought an extension for the 3 external members until March due to the ongoing pandemic, and this would have given government ample time to select their successors, but this request was not accepted, and the government was well within its right to not accept the RBI's request for extension of the tenure of the members. But at the same time, it was the responsibility of the government to appoint the successors to the outgoing members within time, so this situation would not have happened. And the editorial says that this process of selection, which was headed by a committee led by the Cabinet Secretary, appears to be affected by bureaucratic hurdles, and this delay should have been anticipated and avoided by the government. Also, the editorial says that it is unfortunate that such delays in appointments to key positions are becoming increasingly common, which is a worrying sign, and it gives an example that there have been delays in the appointment of deputy governors of the RBI in the past. Finally, the editorial says that such instances of not making key appointments in time by the government are injecting more uncertainty in an already insecure economic environment, especially at a time when there have been arguments made for modifying the inflation targeting regime, which is basically done by the Monetary Policy Committee. So this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now let us look at some key concepts. So in key concepts, let us look at the benefits of inflation targeting by RBI, which is one of the major functions assigned to the Monetary Policy Committee. Now, inflation targeting allows the monetary policy to focus on domestic considerations and to respond to shocks to the domestic economy, which is not possible under a fixed exchange rate system. Also, by inflation targeting, the uncertainty for investors is reduced, and therefore investors may more easily factor in the likely interest rate changes into their investment decisions. And the inflation expectations that are better anchored allow monetary authorities to cut policy interest rates counter-cyclically. One more benefit is the transparency, which comes with inflation targeting by the central bank. And the central banks in developed countries that have successfully implemented inflation targeting tend to maintain regular channels of communication with the public, which is now also being done by the Monetary Policy Committee of RBI, where its decisions and the discussions are made public after the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee. Also, an explicit numerical inflation target increases a central bank's accountability, and it is less likely that the central bank falls prey to the time inconsistency trap. For RBI, the target that has been taken for Monetary Policy Committee for inflation is 4 plus minus 2%. And this is important from exam point of view. We should be aware of it. And this accountability is especially significant because even countries with weak institutions can build public support for an independent central bank. Also, institutional commitment helps in insulating the central bank from political pressure to undertake an overly expansionary monetary policy. Also, through econometric analysis, it has been found that inflation targeting also results in higher economic growth. So after this, let us look at the kind of questions that can be asked in prelims and mains. So in prelims, the questions can be asked about RBI, when was it established. So we should be knowing that it was established in 1935 under the RBI Act of 1934, and RBI was nationalized in 1949, and the headquarters was earlier in Kolkata, but then it was shifted to Mumbai, where it is presently. Question can also be asked about Monetary Policy Committee, its function and its composition. So we should know that it is a 6-member committee where 3 members are from RBI and the other 3 members are nominated by Government of India. And the RBI governor acts as the head of the Monetary Policy Committee. Also, a question can be asked about the inflation target of Monetary Policy Committee, which at present is 4 plus minus 2%. In mains, the question can be asked about the effectiveness of Monetary Policy Committee in controlling inflation and also about the role of RBI. So we should be aware about it. So this was all in today's editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.